All right, guys, we're going to talk about Insatiable, Season 1, Episode 5. So, my favorite part of this episode is that girl coming with the suntan lotion, and it's meat spray at the dog wash for charity.
Yeah.
Bikini dog wash for charity.
SPF meat bitches, and then drives away. Yes.
So much about that is ridiculous, and I love it. So aside from the fact that it is a dog bikini wash, which is already ridiculous, and they call it out with is that even a thing? Like multiple times.
Bikini
They're
dog
what?
wash.
You're mixing those.
Wait, that's not what I said. It's great. Let's do it. No, we shouldn't. That's a horrible idea. Okay, you can make a flyer. Fuck.
Aside from that, it's all like dudes in bikinis from the GTBAC whatever.
Oh, later.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about when the meat spray part, like that scene.
That happens before.
You're right. That does.
They spray the real women.
Yeah. That's how they get rid of the ladies.
And then the drag queens show up.
Okay. I've added it all in my head to make it the best, most ridiculous scene possible.
I compressed it. Yeah. No, so she says bacon grease for some reason, and I love Patty being able to identify what horrible food it is just by scent.
Well, she's had a lot of practice.
She used to be the fat chick. Yes. No, this episode is dense. I like a lot of it.
A lot of stuff does happen in this episode.
But it all flows really well. Mm-hmm. And we're going to miss stuff, so I just want to state that up front.
Well, as long as we hit the fun stuff and the important stuff, that's all that matters.
No,
we're not giving you a play-by-play recap.
I was gonna
we're just talking about the episode.
Even at that, though, because normally what I'm able to do, I take little notes, but I'm able mentally even to say, okay, this episode, this Bob does this, and he spends his whole time trying to do this, and then at the end, they all come together and something happens, right? Or this character, pick any character and you can ground them.
Yeah, follow their arc individually.
This is your struggle. This is your struggle. This is your, and you can do that. But here, in the lunchroom alone, right? And I just want to compliment this show before I shit on it later for something else. But Dixie walks in with the megaphone, the camera follows her, we end up at Patty and them.
It's so ridiculously cringy that it's beautiful.
I know.
Because what and do you recall exactly what she says through the megaphone?
I am a victim or something like that.
But
it's insane.
There's some twist at the end where it's like I'm not a lesbian. I'm not a lesbian. Goes and makes out with the one guy.
No, and in the whole lunchroom scene, we follow, and then she goes over there, makes out with him, and the tongue is all flapping, and it's all weird and gross.
I'm a victim.
Yeah, and then but then we follow Patty to the cool girls table, and then we follow her here, and then we follow her back here, and then that that leaves Nani, so then the camera follows her back over to the Troy Asian dude or whatever, and it's this great flow. It's super dense. Everyone talks to everyone. You don't feel like it's that weird contrived lunchroom scene. There's no cranked up dinner of the fucking lunchroom noise. It just feels like a candy world.
Of metal silverware hitting, and you're where'd they even get metal?
Right. It's so. It's a show, I think, for people that wouldn't want this to be a flat, normal version of this, but also couldn't handle it being a super cranked up, dark, gross version of this. It's a weird middle ground.
For me, that middle ground is the idea that it is on Netflix. So it is your average CW bullshit show for teens, except it is on Netflix, and just by nature of that,
they've just
able to increase cursing and I wrote whatever I want, didn't dumb it down to the lowest common denominator. Just kept going. That's why I enjoy watching things outside of traditional media so much. And your Hulus, your Netflixes. But I do think Hulu's going to shit the bed at some point soon.
It has to. I need to have fewer things to subscribe to.
Well, Disney owns too much of it that I think they're going to just keep cranking down on it.
Yeah.
But Netflix, you're holding strong.
But yeah, this is a nice thing that can exist. I really part of me still was is there really enough stuff here? It's kind of predictable. It's kind of normal. It's kind of whatever. But then every now and then things happen. That one lesbian chick from the club wearing a vegetarian shirt or whatever. There's these little moments that come up, and SPF meat and all these different things.
No.
And the twists and the little things are just there's enough of it that this is like a version of one of those shows for adults, I mean, right? Or normal human beings.
It still had too much of the preachy bullshit in this episode.
That's what I'm going to shit on, yeah.
But the things like SPF meat bitches, like that kind of stuff, brought it back down to an even level where if this was just an average episode without these high points of humor, and it had that shit like so. There's the combination of the like realizing yourself and becoming the lesbian you are like thing. Where I almost would have been like, oh, that was actually fine if they didn't also have the and believing in yourself and finding out who you are when she's looking in the bathroom with the girl who had the gender reassignment.
Okay. So.
Because that was so beating you over the head. I was like, come on.
We're getting into tricky territory.
Especially if you never see that girl again. If she becomes a main character and she's a friend, then I'm like, okay, I'll give it a pass.
Okay.
But if you just bonded, had this intense relationship all of a sudden with a stranger who had the same type of problems in a different way as you, but we never see her again, that's pandering bullshit, and I hate it.
You will never, you will literally never see her again because she was not a good actress and it did not like work or whatever. I have the exact same problem as you. Luckily, no one watches our YouTube channel, so I don't have to worry about being too careful, but I'll still try to be kind of careful.
Okay.
The show has a great way of approaching what I will call, like, yesterday's, like, issues, right?
Okay.
Fatness, schoolness, race, right?
Schoolness?
School drama, things like that at school. Right?
Just had to make sure I knew what you meant.
All these things about dating and sex and being young and all these, all this dumb stuff, people's parents and all that stuff.
Burning the homeless,
It has a great way of approaching it where you think it's going to be one thing and then it turns out, oh, yeah, no, everyone's a monster, everything's horrible, right?
Sure.
It keeps reinforcing that theme. Everything feels natural.
It always sunnies it a little bit.
Yeah, it feels real because even like the model person, like, some shows make everything about how the model family's really secretly fucked up and like the fucked up family's really secretly like good. Here, everyone's secretly, openly,
a dumpster
by
fire,
day. Yeah, everything sucks. And that's what's so great about it, right? But now we are dabbling in like, what I will call issues of today. Right? Transgender stuff, LGBTQ club stuff, right? All those things. And suddenly now, the show that I love so much for treating everything with like the grossness and like ugliness of reality, like we like put a different lens on the camera, change the music. Like, this whole episode has, like, dirty techno and, like, weird music in it. Everything's, like, shitty and, like, plays off really nicely. There's, like, really good cues and drops and, like, setups for scenes. And, like, everyone sucks. It's all great. But the LGBTQ club is, like, painted in this, like, super good light. And, like, there is no downside. There is no, like, listen, girls, we gotta go, like, we have to let you down somehow, too, though, right?
Not only is there no downside, but they are impossibly good people.
Yes, everything's
like,
just good.
Oh, at the drop of a hat, yes, we will come and tweet out to everyone we know.
Yes.
Save your charity single-handedly and wash dogs.
And I think that they realized all this because they dub in a line as the bikini girls are leaving where someone says, that's it, we're out of here, I'm done with this, or like something like that, right? Because otherwise you would think, wait, but like, so, like, to structure this properly, the, like, bikini club has to say, I'm bored. Wait, we have to go to a concert. Wait, fuck this. And then they have to abandon Patty and, like, let her down. Or, like, Magnolia has to, like, betray her in some way. And then the LGBTQ club with Brick can, like, save her. And then, like, they're being good. The way everything's laid out here, the bikini club could have just taken a shower and come back and it would have been fine. And like probably quicker than these new people have to come into the picture, right?
Yeah, because they had to wax and get ready, and
so like it doesn't quite line up or like fit. It doesn't quite work, and I think they realized that like in editing or somewhere because that line is like super dubbed in there to imply I'm being attacked by dogs. I'm out. This screw this or whatever. Whereas without that line dubbed in, it looks like they're just running away from dogs, as you would do. But then they find out, oh, she spiked our stuff with meat. We can just solve this problem by ourselves. For some reason, you have to solve it with this other external force, right? And that's not teaching us anything. We're not learning anything from that, right?
it's solely
very
for
out
like,
of place.
Like, look at how inclusive groups can help you, and these blah blahs are not. Like, and that's that whole like I don't know. It
but they
felt
didn't
very
set
pandery to me.
They didn't set that up properly. You could have done that, and then I would have said, well, it's kind of on the nose, but whatever, right? Something like that. But still.
And like, what did Brick just call the center? Like, and say like, hey, I need like, because he was there once and he accidentally defaced their wall. Like,
and he talked to that one person, and that was the whole point of it, the whole thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, And if I may have said drag queen already. I think some of them are just drag queens, and some of them are transgender. It makes it very complicated or whatever. But the one inspirational story was horrible. That whole thing, the whole finding yourself thing. Or whatever. We can do that much better. And when this show even does that, it then turns out that the inspirational person is like a trash fire themselves. That's the whole point of this show. You're supposed
and that's
to make
why I'm
everyone
saying
a
you
trash
can
fire.
cover this up if we ever see that character again. But my fear,
I'm betting you won't.
is that you won't see her ever again.
Right.
That she was just there to be like the name drop of, oh no, we have people that have had gender assignment surgeries
It's
or
so
reassignment
awkward.
and
See?
and I find that just that's to me worse than making fun of somebody.
It's certainly
like,
worse. No, and like that's the point is like before the show, like the first episode, we like addressed this. I've seen some tweets, I've seen some YouTube video headlines about Insatiable being problematic or whatever, right? And then like we start getting into we start getting into the show, and I say, well, yeah, it's problematic, it's great. It's showing how everything's fucked up. And guess what? He's sleeping with her mother. That's crazy. Like we just kept layering on the fucked upness of like the people, and it was awesome. And I'm like, oh, you people just see a fat suit and you freak out. You're being too sensitive. Now it's like, oh no, even this show can't handle this stuff and is like clumsily trying to work in these different issues. It really came off as weird.
Was it this episode where it's like, your boyfriend's sleeping with some old whore? Who? My mother?
My mom.
Was that this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
She blows up Brick's spot like immediately. A ton of stuff happens like that. It's like nonstop. I really enjoy this episode. I was ready to come out of it and be like, for an episode where like nothing happens, this episode was tight as hell. It was great. It was nonstop. People talk to people on the way to talking to other people, and that forks off into their plot line, and they go off. Like, it was really well done. And again, the music, the dialogue, the writing, all these different things. The whole thing with Christian pretending to be like a
I
master
hated that
hacker.
a little bit.
Yeah.
The thing I hate about that thing is the whole master hacker thing in general.
I hated it
I
until...
I can't stand the whole like, oh, I'll go to the computer lab because like they'll know like at the computer lab that's only nerds, because real nerds don't have good computers at their homes that they use. They obviously hang out in the school.
This is the computer club trope. But that was the thing, was like, and like why?
But then
was,
his little one-line thing, I met a
even...
guy in a cafe, he took me under his wing and taught me how to blah blah.
That
like,
was
it felt like a lie.
Okay, but like since that was a lie, it like made it okay. If that was supposed to be true, I would have been so upset. But it was a lie, so I was like, okay, great. Now I'm back on board with it.
I hate that our main character, this like supposed to be smart, witty lady, who I guess they never actually portray as smart ever. So maybe it's fine, but I guess the natural default of your main character is always this like, oh, I'm a cut above, and I guess she is not.
She doesn't know her best friend is super gay for her
but
forever.
that can be a different thing.
Yeah, it can be an emotional
like,
thing. Yeah,
so I won't necessarily like cut
No, and I don't think Patty's like dumb. I just don't, he's just saying these words that sound that he thinks will sound good to her. I'm sure she didn't like repeat those exact words to Bob. She just thought it could work out or whatever. And then him just being like, it doesn't work, can't do it. Just like, oh well, I guess you shouldn't have trusted a drug dealer. Peace, and just like leave. I was like, that's awesome. I love this.
I hate his face though, because
he sucks.
There's something about, especially with like the pulled back hair.
Yeah.
He looks like a fake person. Like he looks like a plastic person.
Looks like a video game person.
Yeah, I hate him.
No, listen, I hate him, and I hated him when we first saw him, and like on like a normal show. And again, I'm out of touch. I'm like an old man. Maybe shows are cool these days, but on like a show that would have been on 100 years ago when I would have watched television, he would be like the skater who'd be like, yeah, I don't really fit in either. Oh, you lost weight, interesting. Let's go hang out, and like would have done all these things or whatever. But like no, they use him in this whole other way where he's just a shitbag, and he's like behind Magnolia and him like behind the back doing stuff. I don't know if they're getting together, if they're going to Pound Town or whatever. That could like
that's probably where things will go.
And she's and that just drags her down even further with the drug thing or whatever and his involvement. He's in there texting, like setting her up and telling her like lie low for a bit, babe. All these things, like it's wonderful.
I hated how she was in the car watching Brick. I was like, what, she's been sitting there the whole time?
Yeah,
it's fucking weird, and her weird face just sitting there staring, looking, keep looking.
I remember that moment too. At the end, right? Brick kisses Patty and stuff, and that again,
seems like he's having legitimate feelings for her, and that they're actually come together, and she doesn't want to tear him down as much as she did before.
It's the tail end of the part that I hated though, and it felt too like traditional or whatever, right? I know so it's kind of like my horror movie thing where I love like the middle 40 minutes. minutes where you like it's building the mystery and you don't know what it is, but eventually you have to like settle on something and figure out what it is or like reveal it often, and that's when I like fall off. Here, like I liked this like I don't know what's gonna happen thing, what's happening, and now that it's just happening, I'm kind of like oh, or like whatever, right? I
You
don't
think
know
his
how to
real
explain
name
it.
is Brick?
Yes,
It's a weird option choice.
Brick Armstrong.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest name ever. No, I don't know what is Brick a nickname for.
I don't know what that would be. That's a southern
Patrick?
thing, I guess.
I don't know. 'Cause he's built like a brick.
I don't know. Is he though? He looks like he's kind of
Not
short.
at all. He's like Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Justin Brickber.
What else happened?
Nani's overall arc or whatever.
Yes.
I really like this.
I like that character a lot. And I feel like
Yes.
she's like, I don't know. Like I think the next episode will really decide what turn that character is going to take.
Mhm.
And like I don't want it to be this this sharp twist. In the next episode, she's acting like a raging lesbian.
Right.
Like I would like it to be natural and her to be a
Yeah.
real character because she does come across in most episodes as the real character. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's how a real person would behave. Oh, that's a real
Yeah,
comment.
she's super real.
And if they switch that over, and I'm like, okay, now it's ridiculous. It might be weird.
I'm hoping they don't like screw this up because I like the character. I think I even like the actress. There's a moment where she says something. I forget the exact wording, but like sometimes other people know you better than you know yourself, and she gets this look in her eyes, this like deer in the headlights of like oh fuck or whatever, because she's like hugging Patty in that moment. She's just like fuck and all that stuff. You were seeing a lot of this awesome shit happening with her because I didn't realize she didn't know she was gay either. That's like fucked up to me.
Yeah,
Like, oh
yeah.
shit. But that adds like layers to this whole thing about the whole deal. And they literally set up. Well, you know, she happens to talk to someone who happens to say, "Then I saw my best friend kissing someone, and I wanted
Yeah,
to die." And then it literally happens like 5 minutes later. So I wrote in my notes, "Brick and Patty kissing. Nani dies." Whatever, like the whole thing, because she has that look like, "Oh no," and all that stuff. So I'm like, good times. But they're still peppering in the jokes. Like, I'm hoping they handle this correctly. Having her make out with Troy, having the whole thing, and then him turning that around too, and her whole world. Like,
I kind of
collapsing.
like the idea of them dancing around a like obviously doomed relationship with her and Troy for like a half a season. I thought that would be interesting, but that's probably not going to happen unless
it's not gonna revert, right?
unless this realization makes her backpedal even harder.
Push back, ultra hard on it. I know, yeah. I was really enjoying the jokes and the obliviousness of the whole thing. Where'd you get those pictures of girls in bikinis? Oh, from a website I've never been to before, though, and all that stuff, right? Those dumb things. I kind of make me smile about the whole
those
the whole
on the nose jokes.
Yeah, you know, because they've been doing that like consistently the whole time. So part of me was like, oh wait, is she not gay? That you know, that's weird. Oh no, good, okay, she is gay. Oh wait, but you know, to your point, if you go from being like you know, gay in like everything but name only to like full-time gay, and you put on the gay uniform,
it's a big difference.
And you start doing the gay behavior, right? It could be, you know,
it
could be awkward.
Because if you think about how hard they leaned in on this last episode to like all the like, look how good we are with acceptance and blah blah blah. If they lean as hard, where if in the next episode she's wearing a vegetarian shirt and a rainbow buckle and a like honk if you're gay like bumper sticker on her ass, like it's good. It's too much and like it won't feel real.
It could be funny, but I hope they don't. I hope they handle it. I'll say correctly.
And not that people don't
sure
ever
what
do
that
a
is.
180 on their personalities, especially when they're realizing something out about themselves. She's such a shelled person that I think it would be a slow progress for her. Like, I don't want to see her in short shorts and going crazy at a pride rally in the next episode.
I hope that we will not.
You know, because I really like this character.
I think she's great.
I don't want her to change too much of what she is. And not to say that if she became like if she was out gay, it would change her character. But the writing on this show may not be as talented to be able to take that character and say what would that character do if she was out.
Right, because
it might just be like, oh, now I'm writing for a gay character, and they just turn it on its head.
Yes, I'm scared as well because I love the character. I've loved a lot of the stuff with her. trying to drive while the Asians are in the back with the gun.
Yeah.
And it's like poking her, and she's like, "What is that loaded? Oh no!" Like it's been
That's just a great
it's
awkward
been a good time.
thing. Yeah.
I love.
And I don't want her.
I love lesbians.
That's really what I don't want to lose is her awkwardness.
Yeah.
And a lot of that might be because of her closeted nature.
I know.
And if she now is out and proud, she might not be awkward anymore.
Yeah, I don't.
And that's the fear. I think that's it.
As bad as it sounds to say something worded exactly the way I'm going to word it, yeah, I don't want her to find like a newfound confidence and leave behind all that makes the character so interesting.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Because she's not a real person. I'm not dooming someone in real life.
No. Exactly. I'm not hoping people don't become confident about themselves in general. I just want, because again, like I don't think a lot of her personality is coming from that. I think that's how she's interpreting stuff, and that's blocking certain things. Like it's like thing. Ooh, I'm not gay though. And,
yeah.
Right. So like
Didn't you just say there's nothing wrong with that? For you?
Yeah, but like, guys, jeez, right? So like, I feel like all those like building blocks getting up to the hey, I'm not gay should still be there, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Except now it's like, oh wait, no, I am gay. Okay, I can do that. Great. And you can just like keep those things going because that's happened several times where it's like, oh, Patty would think you look hot. Okay. Wait. Hugging.
Yeah.
Oh God, no, sorry. Yeah.
We'll see what direction they take, and I'm sure we'll know immediately.
Yes, we'll know before a line of dialogue is even spoken by her.
Potentially.
So that was a lot of this episode. Was the whole like people, someone hacked your phone. We're fake tweeting out.
Well, that was we didn't even mention
the
that.
Muff Diver business.
They tweet out a picture of
we glossed over it. It's
her nude doing like a stretching maneuver,
doing a like cheerleading maneuver of some sort, like a whatever standing split thing. Yeah. That's pretty good. But then Troy's like, well, yeah, like 30 people have seen her vag. What do you mean? And it's like, oh,
what is it that site they call it?
I call it Snatch Chat. It's not that.
That might be it, actually.
Well, who knows?
I don't remember.
Maybe.
That's close enough.
That's good enough for this, for these purposes.
An A.
But yeah, someone stole the picture, right? And blah, 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 blah. Muff Diver written on her locker.
Yeah, you find out
That's
her
what
mother
leads
is
to the whole
actually who
gay
leaked
thing.
the picture because her cellmate.
That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah, her cellmate is a hacker. Bob gives her a makeover.
But I love how in the middle of all this, like Muff Diver on the locker, all these things, we cut to prison and she's spooning with like a meth head chick and all that stuff. And and like it's like very quickly like apparent, but like if you just consider the situation. She's in prison for like statutory rape or something like that.
Yes, and she leaks nude pictures of an underage daughter.
Of her own daughter.
Yeah.
Right? Of her adopted own
daughter. I wanted to think
right?
I was a whore, not that I'm gay.
Yeah. This is going too far. It's like, oh, honey, just, come on now. You don't know what I had to do for that or whatever.
Yeah.
But she's all, getting, cuddly with her and all that stuff. Yeah, so Bob gives her a makeover. I love that whole, the line was something like, oh, you want to peel the banana yourself, huh? And all that stuff. It reminded me of Kingpin when Woody Harrelson fucks that old weird lady in the beginning or something like that. Because Bob's like got the gross thing and he says like, I wasn't sure if I could go through with it. And then like it turns out, it's just a makeover.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're like right on the verge of his cheating scandal. Is he going to cheat again?
Would have been crazy, yes.
Yeah.
But now she has a makeover. He takes another picture of her. He's like, use that as your profile pic. You'll be getting conjugals left and right, even though she's getting out in 2 weeks. But she'll probably be back in prison. It's fine.
I'm sure.
Not a problem. But that was our master hacker. That was the whole subplot.
Yes.
And we have proof, and that gets her name cleared off camera, whatever the
and
business.
And it puts the mother in jail for even longer.
And the mom is. I love that character too. I actually love her. Her just wailing on she's like cat fighting her and starts punching her.
I just had a makeover.
And what is the line there? Who's pretty now? Starts just, I'll show you pretty. And it's just going at her.
So on top of like you're gonna get more prison time because you just got
for cyber crimes
or whatever, and like pimping your daughter or whatever they want to call that. Now you're just beat the shit out of your roommate, your cellmate.
So she's gonna be in like solitaire.
And all this while, her daughter is living with what are they? Bob Belfar? Barnard. Yeah. I'm like, it's a weird word.
It's so strange because that's how it opens up. No, you are a weird little gremlin that my dad let live with us without even talking to me. That's the whole vibe. It was like, oh, it's amazing. Yes, no, it makes no sense. It's crazy. But there we have it. There we have the situation. Yeah. No, I love it. We're just gonna keep cutting to what's her name and Regina in prison now, right? It's this whole awesome side thing that we get to do.
I'm picturing there'll be one more blackmail thing. We'll be like, no, Bob, you're going to represent me or this is going to happen.
Yes, he's a lawyer. He could totally try. I have to get her sentence reduced, or else something's happening here. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about Coralie being MIA? Just not even in the episode, not billed.
Yeah, it was fine.
It's fine for you. I know you like her. I know you want her to
It
succeed.
it made sense.
Yeah.
If like what just happened, like what.
Yeah.
And she's also living on the dime of
of the other Bob.
of the other Bob, which made him even more angry.
Can I just say too, that whole thing of like, I know, I'm gonna get Bob to wanna like push for jail time. And then he he walks in to get that to happen. He gets it to happen, but he walks out wanting it to go back the other way because of something else that gets revealed. I love things like that so much. I love him on his way there, I'm gonna convince him to press for jail time. And then on his way home being like, I have to get him to like go for probation and just do it. It's so like I'm such a big fan of that stuff. It's so it makes it feel so much better than a show that would have you sit through the first part, then have a phone call later, and have you do the, oh no, now we have to change the plan, right? This is so...
It also upsets
me so much.
His order of operations on what he levels as important, where I'm like, yep, he'll let his marriage fall to shit just for this beauty contest?
He's insane. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
The pageantry is my life. He's just going nuts. I love that. That's awesome. And they have that bond, right?
And the realization that he's doing this doing what his father did to him and his son.
Yes.
But still kind of choosing to drop the son and the wife in favor of this girl who he's met a week ago.
Yes. Well, okay, yeah. In the
2
timeline
weeks
of
ago,
the show,
maybe?
sure. Very recently, definitely. Yeah, because they have that sickness, right? And that's what the show is like playing off of. Patty and Bob have the same like weird illness towards the life, where this is gonna prove something. This is gonna validate them or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that means more than anything, right? Oh man,
That's crazy.
I'll write a whole essay about this show. No, because honestly, like. Part of me says, well, the show's not that good. You're just watching these things and eating it up for some reason. But the way it's delivered
That's
makes
what drama like bullshit is for.
But the way that it's delivered really is like resonating with me, especially like here, with the exception of that train wreck towards the end that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Where I feel like if that stuff continues, like the only way this gross weird show works is if you don't do things like that, because now we can see the contrast.
Can't be personalizing and trying to make this moral lesson and stand on a high ground during a shitty like joke of a show kind of at times.
You had to have the trans lady say like, yeah, I know she looks horrible in that bikini. I was just trying to make her feel better. Like you have to do some weird thing where like you break the you have to set up these real moments but then break them.
No, or something even worse where that trans girl in the bathroom isn't even a trans girl. She's just a girl who's scamming to try to win some trans pageant or some
stupid thing.
Some bullshit.
No, if she became like a real character, you should start to learn bad things about all these characters.
Yeah.
These are just these perfect people that we invited for 2 seconds.
That's my problem, is if it's 2 seconds.
Right?
But again, if these become characters and they put any effort into that, then yes, I will be fine with it. I'm worrying, and you are as well, that this is the last we're seeing of them, and they will just be these angelic descriptions of what people are.
Right, because I think like they represent the idea. I'm just an idea of like people, as opposed to what makes every other person work is you're like, okay, Brick, he's the jock guy or whatever. He's doing his thing, dating the popular, like beauty queen girl, whatever. Right. 2 seconds later, no, he's having horrible, relationship with his parents, and he's like, this generational mishap. He's screwing this old broad. He's doing these things. He's like a mess, right? And you can pick any character and start off like, okay, she's like the mousy friend, and then her friend got thin, and then whatever. Now she's like jealous, kind of. Maybe it's deeper, whatever. No, she's like, entering the pageant against her. She's driving across the country. She's, not in touch with her own, anything like that, right? So you can't just have characters that, like, if this show just had like a principal of the school who was just a principal and just came in and said principal stuff, I'd be like the same way. I'd be like, why do you have this stupid one-dimensional character? Everyone has to have that depth, right? That like horrible, ugly.
Well, and they're all at the core bad people, or at least have
real
a
people.
flaw. To show flawless characters of any nature would be weird, but because of who they chose, it felt even more preachy than normal.
Yeah, it feels like going for that internet whatever thing where where it's like,
yeah, we want awards in the LGBT community through this episode.
Well, it's like we're going to do something, and we want to involve this. Well, how do we handle that? The same way as everything else, the way that's really helping us here, the way that we can have a homeless guy who got his life together actually be a horrible dirtbag too at the same time. Like all those things. No, let's just touch on them briefly and have them save the day, even though they didn't really need to, and then literally change the music, change the camera angles, change the lighting, change everything to make it look like this great thing, and everything's good, and then just end, right? Feels weird. Whatever.
I had an issue I was thinking about with so you got Milano's character who loves what's the Brick's girlfriend's name?
Magnolia.
Magnolia's mom is like, oh, I want to be in the junior league. I want this and that. Why has she never used the fact that her son is dating her daughter? And they could have been like, oh, no, we meet every Tuesday for blah, blah, because we want the kids to have a good relationship. We want to I want to know the parents.
Yeah.
And you could have used that. And why was that never seeming a thing? It seems to be so like to the side. We're like, oh, yeah, and our kids are dating.
Yes. When I think about the show, I sometimes can't keep it all in my head at once because everyone is so intertwined on so many levels. They're doing pageantry. They're doing local town legal stuff. They're doing school stuff. They're doing all these different things together. So I think even the writers of the show can't handle keeping everything together at once because sometimes, you're
needlessly intertwined.
Well, because you're like, shouldn't you already know that about them? It's been years. You're doing this. What? It feels weird. I totally agree with that. I've been spotting those things here and there too and trying to let them wash over me and not bother me that much. But yes, definitely. You would think that like to have them be adversaries in the courtroom and adversaries on the pageant stage, and then to have their kids be dating, that should have created some sort of situation.
Yeah, where either it's okay or it's not.
It should have created something where someone's like, I told you not to be around that Armstrong boy. He's just out to sabotage you for the pageant. And he's like, listen, no, we just want to have a whole thing, right? But they don't seem to be, because again, I feel like there's too much to keep track of, and they don't have time or the ability to do it properly, which is their own fault. It's not like it's an excuse, but I have noticed the same thing. Yes.
Good. You got any other things for this? You got a button or thumb?
We talked mostly about the important stuff, mostly about the ending or whatever. I don't think so. Anything too much, whatever. The pageantry continues. We got into and out of some hot water during the episode. Yep. We talked about the low points. We talked about the high points. Major concerns about Nani. And I guess we'll just see what they want to do with the whole thing.
SPF me, bitches. All right, guys. So that's our thoughts on this episode. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't down to fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.